Which Side Podcast is a proud member of the Which Side Media Collective.
This week's episode is brought to us by Michael Beasley. Michael wanted to shout out his good friend Pia Klemp and Captain Sid Chakravarti, both from the Sea Shepherds' new organization, Aquascope. It's a new non-government, non-profit organization, and they work collectively with scientists, governments, and other organizations to protect marine life and habitat by fighting poachers and other criminal fishing activities. They achieve this objective through the uses of range of detection and surveillance technology, including underwater gliders, hydrophones, HF radars, satellites, radio technology, and all that fun stuff. Their team and capabilities are slowly growing, but they need support to really kick things off and make a dent in IUU fishing. Their website's aquascope.org, and they have a Facebook page as well that we'll have on the show notes. Thanks, Michael.
This is episode 140.
Yeah, we talked with Marc Pierschel of The End of Mead.
Yeah, he's actually working with Jeff Worth, who we've had on previously, on this new documentary. So make sure to check out their Indiegogo campaign. There's only a couple days left to help get them funded. So head on over there, give them what you can. All the information will be in the show notes. Hey, Jordan, what news and events do we have going on?
Well, a friend of the program, Rod Coronado, has just kicked off more stuff with the Wolf Patrol and is now facing charges of hunter harassment, so they could use a lot of support. Hard to Port has recently done a lot with their Icelandic Whaler Watching campaign, so you should check that out. And also, there's still time to back the End of Meat, so you should do that. As far as events go, check out the Toronto Anarchist Bookfair. That's July 18th through 19th.
And all those links will be in the show notes. For the Slingshot this week, July 16th, 1934, a general strike shut down San Francisco for 4 days. 4 days.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. If you like these little tidbits of history, I pulled them out of the Slingshot Personal Organizer. Go get one yourself. They're pretty fucking cool. You can get one at an online info shop like AK Press, or get one at a local info shop. I sincerely hope you enjoy this episode.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side? Which side are you on? 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 Which side are you on?
So how's your day going so far?
Yeah, it's been good. Just been working on a new documentary and not much else.
Is it you're in Germany, right?
I'm in Germany, yeah.
What time is it right now in Germany?
It's 8 p.m. right now.
Okay, so that's not too bad, but it's a nice end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is the documentary you're working on, is this the End of Meat one, or are you doing a different one?
No, I'm just doing a couple of smaller ones before I'm actually going to start. Currently in the process of the End of Meat because the crowdfunding campaign is going on, so I'm doing that parallel. But yeah, still have to finish those before I can focus on the End of Meat.
Mm-hmm. Are these like activist-focused documentaries, or?
Yeah, there's one about a sanctuary in Germany, fairly new sanctuary that I'm doing a small documentary on, and then I just got back from Iceland a couple of days ago and doing a documentary about a anti-whaling action or campaign, and yeah.
What got you into making documentaries?
I was straight edge for a couple of years, and then me and my friend had the idea to do a documentary on straight edge, and then because there wasn't anything out there so far, so we just got some cameras and read about it, and then started making the film.
And that one is Edge, right?
That's Edge, yeah.
Yeah.
That was released in 2009.
So, like, what was that experience like? Like diving into the straight edge scene, because you did that in 2009, and so really straight edge became popular 80, 81 ish, right?
Yeah, well, it had its ups and downs over the time, and the process of making the film was really fun. It was, worked out really well. I didn't expect it to be that easy, to be honest. I mean, we didn't really know that much about cameras, and we just had these like regular camcorders that we bought, but it turned out okay. I mean, looking back at it now, I would have done a couple of things different, but it's still okay, and it's still popular, and people are interested in it, and yeah.
So were you into like the whole straight edge hardcore scene at that time? And did you was there any like bands you're just like, I want to do this just so I can talk to this band?
I come from a sociology background. That's what I studied at university. So I was always interested in subcultures, and being straight edge myself, it was of course interesting to look more at it from a sociology perspective, and to talk about the bands and talk about the people, what reasons they have to get into straight edge, and what experiences they have with alcohol or other substance abuse. And it was a fun time, and we shot it in 5 weeks, over the course of 5 weeks in the States. Wow. And yeah.
So what was the process of deciding to do it and then getting all the people involved in the filming?
Do you mean how we contacted the people, or?
Yeah, like how did you just decide who you're going to contact, and then how'd you go about doing that? If you said this was like your first project that you worked on, right? Yeah,
that's correct. I don't know. We just brainstormed, I guess, and thought about who would be interesting to talk to, and then we wanted to focus on the history of straight edge as well. So you obviously have the earlier bands, and then the scene in the 90s, and then the 2000s. Mm-hmm. So we thought we had a look what bands were popular and what people had interesting stories we could talk to, and we just went along from there.
I find the subject of straight edge very interesting to myself, because I've been straight edge since I was 9, and now I'm in my 30s. So I've kind of just grown up with it my entire life, and it's just kind of an embodiment of kind of who I am. And so sometimes I find myself, reaching back and questioning if that's still who I am. Like, do I still want to, maintain completely alcohol free? Do I still want to? Because, it's something I never experienced. I know a lot of kids come to it because, they either had problems with alcohol or whatnot, but I never even experienced it. I never had alcohol.
Okay, yeah, it was different for me. I had a lot of bad experiences, bad memories with alcohol or substance abuse, and then I moved to a new city, and then I heard about this hardcore scene, and I got into hardcore, and I met a few people who were straight edge, and they told me about it, and then I just decided that I should give it a try, and I never went back.
Yeah, what really solidified it for me was my older brother. My older brother, I just did not want to turn out like him, and he was really into drugs and alcohol. So I kind of was just like, that is definitely not what I want to be.
Yeah. I had this thing with my dad. He was drinking a lot at the time, and I grew up with a lot of fights between him and my mom, and it's just something I didn't want to become. So that was definitely one of the reasons for me as well.
I do find it's way different as an identity when you're a lot older, like I said, in my 30s now, than it was when I was, like 16, 17. It's a way, maybe it's just a more mature approach to life.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I've never really X'd up at a show or something like that. I always found that quite, strange to do. And I don't go to shows that often anymore, so I think it has changed for me as well. But I still follow the scene, and it's still interesting to hear stories of how people come to straight edge and how it helps them through an episode in their life. And that was something that was also really, really interesting in the documentary, to cover that, how these kids had this really difficult background and how straight edge helped them through it.
There's a scene where you're talking to Ian McKay where he's like, straight edge isn't a lifestyle. You know, partying and drinking, that's a lifestyle. I found that very interesting.
Yeah, he had some interesting lines or funny lines in the movie.
It's funny you say like you don't go to shows anymore, and like I think about it, like the last real hardcore show I went to would have been, I think, Hellfest 2001.
Oh wow!
Like maybe it was 2000.
You went to Earth Crisis.
That's right. I did do the Earth Crisis reunion tour. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, now like if Earth Crisis came through again, I'd be like, well, should I take my daughter? She's almost 9. Like that's appropriate, right?
I don't know about in Utah. No offense.
So, what kind of bands influenced you?
What kind of bands? Originally, I come from a punk rock background. You know, all the California punk bands, NoFX, Black Wagon, Pennywise. And then I got into more political punk rock bands like Good Riddance or Propaganda, and then that got me into hardcore. So a lot of early hardcore, Minor Threat, and Youth of Today, and then Earth Crisis as well. So yeah.
What kind of brought you to veganism? Was it the hardcore scene that brought you to veganism?
It was actually Propaganda that got me into vegetarianism.
Okay.
That was when I was 17, and then I don't know. I listened to a couple of bands, and it was actually a movie that got me into veganism. It's called Baraka. I don't know if you know it.
Yeah,
it's by the same director as Samsara.
That's
Yeah, and there's a scene where there's chicks being sexed, where they sort the male and the female chicks, and I didn't know anything about that, and then that got me thinking, and so that got me into veganism.
So were you still living with family at the time?
No, I just moved to Münster, where I'm living now, to go to university.
Okay. How did your friends and family take the change? Were they really supportive?
Not really, no. I think right now I don't have any of my old friends I had back at the time. Again, my friends it just changed over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them went vegan, and I'm still friends with them. But the other ones, they just moved on. And my family, it took them a while to accept it, but they know about it now, and they're more respectful now than they used to be. But yeah.
Did it cause any like major conflicts with your family?
No, not really. Just a couple of arguments every now and then, but nothing really too serious.
Jordan still likes to argue with his.
Yeah, I do. Nothing ever changes. I have noticed that a lot of vegans initially, like, they only have maybe one vegan friend or maybe no other vegan friends, but that slowly changes, and then over the years you find out that most of your friends are vegan, if not all of them. It's kind of weird how that just happens, and it's not like you're isolating yourself from friends. It just kind of just happens.
Yeah, I don't know how the process is exactly, but yeah, it's the same here.
I totally isolated myself. Mm-hmm. Like, as soon as I started getting into activism in high school, I'm like, fuck all of you. Like, yeah, I totally did. I was one of those asshole kids too. Like, yeah, I'll freely admit it. Like, 16, 17, 18, 19, I was totally one of those asshole kids that didn't really accept differences, I guess, as far as like ideological differences.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably slap my old self, because definitely better ways to approach things than when I was younger.
I'd say 17-year-old me would kick the shit out of 34-year-old me.
Yeah. Like, you're not vegan enough.
So the new documentary you're trying to get fundraised is The End of Me. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, the idea is basically to explore the idea of how a world would look like where there's no animal exploitation, so like a vegan future. And that's everything we have so far, the idea, and we have a concept, and it's being funded right now. We're trying to fund to help us shoot the documentary, and it's been going for a month now. We're funding on Indiegogo, and there's 6 days left now.
And you're a little over halfway, right?
Yeah, we have 17,500 euros, and we're trying to reach 30,000. But it's a flexible goal, so that means we can take everything we have instead of losing everything with a Kickstarter thing.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that is really good. So
Yeah.
what really got you to thinking about this, to like, this is, going to be my next project?
With my last documentary, that was Live and Let Live. It was just a basic documentary on why people decide to be vegan or to go vegan. And we were following two activists, and they did an open rescue of 6 hens at a factory farm, and we brought them to their new home. And on the way back, I was wondering how or what would look like where we would live together with farmed animals instead of using them or exploiting them, and that got me into thinking, why not make a documentary about this? And then here I am funding it.
One of the things I found interesting about the trailer, you said that about 1% in Germany is vegan, and that seems really low to me. Like I always have this picture of European countries always being a little more cutting edge than the U.S.,
especially when you hear the stuff coming out of Berlin and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at it at the time perspective, it doubled over the last 2 years. So it's growing really fast, and so it's probably going to double maybe in the next year or 2 years, I guess, if it continues to grow so fast.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like when I look back, Great Britain or London was like always the vegan capital of Europe, and now Berlin has like, I don't know, 30 all vegan restaurants.
Holy crap!
Yeah,
yeah, it's crazy.
Is there a very large vegetarian following that kind of converts to the veganism? That's maybe a leading cause of that.
I don't know. There was 8 million vegetarians in Germany, and I don't know what really happened. There were a couple of meat scandals. There was the horse meat scandal in Ireland. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yeah.
There was really a big influence. And then there were a couple of cookbooks that were released that had more a health focus. So they sold veganism as really healthy. And that helped a lot. So, and a couple of other books released on that as well. So that were like the main reasons, I think, for being where we are now.
How is like the mainstream in Germany for being vegan? Like, is it kind of looked down upon? Like here, it's still like we have a higher percentage, but it's still very fringy.
It changed a lot over the last 2 years, so it's very more accepted now. You know, the term veganism itself, a lot of people know what it is because it was so much in the mainstream media over the last couple of months. And there's all these TV shows and news reporters trying out veganism for a month and then writing about it or doing a TV documentary about it, and it's just really positive. A lot of positive feedback.
I wonder if any of those people stay vegan.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope so. I mean, there's a lot of people who got into it for the health reason, but I read a study that a lot of people who are going for the health reasons also turn to ethical vegans over the, I don't know.
I kind of think
get more into it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I kind of think you have to if you want to maintain it to go for a lifetime commitment. Kind of change from a health to an ethical standpoint at some point.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to say fuck health for a day.
Yeah, it's easy to cheat on your diet.
Yeah,
the diet
exactly.
For you.
Yeah,
that's true.
I mean, I went to a French bakery today, and I was like, well, fuck. But I didn't cheat. I was good.
It's all vegan.
It is all vegan, of course. Yes. But no, everyone else got the macaroons and all the other fancy French names.
So with the documentary, are you going to be focusing on other aspects like environmentalism and other things that happen if there were no meat?
Yeah, definitely. We're trying to find studies that look into the health side of it or the environmental side of it. There's just one study from the Netherlands that has calculated all the numbers for a 50% reduction of effective farming worldwide. So that's really interesting. And then we want to look at what the health effects would be as well. But that's just a small part of it. The main part is the ethical side, how we would live together, actually like practical examples of living together with animals.
Are you going to approach it with the assumption of living in a capitalist society, or would you also going to delve into the ideas of what if there wasn't a capitalist society as well as the animal oppression?
Yeah, that's going to be a question as well. And we're also going to be looking at intersectionality. So like if there's any relation between speciesism, racism, and sexism and how they're connected, if we would live in an anti-speciesist world, how that would influence other forms of oppression.
Great. How do you feel about that off the top of your head, spitballing without?
Oh, I don't know. It's really complex. I can't even picture a vegan world right now. I mean, it's so, I don't know, there's so many factors to think about, and I don't know, it's still bizarre, but I'm really excited to do more research on it and start filming the documentary and talk to people.
So you have to have traveled quite extensively. I mean, you just got back from Iceland. What's your the best activist place you've been to?
The best activist place I've been to?
Yeah.
Well, that's a difficult question. I don't know. I guess it changes with the campaigns or what's going on in the countries. But I don't know. Maybe London when Shaq was going on.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That was a lot of stuff going on, and yeah.
What do you have like a favorite campaign you've ever worked on, or you've ever seen kind of being worked on?
A favorite campaign?
Yeah.
Well, I like all campaigns that are successful, obviously, but favorite campaign, not really, no. I mean, we had a really long anti-fur campaign in Germany, but a lot of the companies that dropped fur are now switching back or selling fur again, so that's kind of a bummer. But
I've always had a special place for fur, mainly because here where we live in Utah, there's so many mink farms. I mean, I grew up with them in my neighborhood, so I always have that little special place of like, it's kind of like what I, hold dear. Not that any of them are less, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's a very, I don't know, just thinking of, I don't know, being imprisoned for your skin is like really absurd.
Yeah,
it is.
And they're disgusting to see. I still see them every day, mink farms. I doubt there's almost a day I don't see one.
That's just how
really
many there are.
That many.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think we were the
second most fur farms, right?
Yeah, we were the first most fur farms in the United States, and now we're the second most after Wisconsin, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I mean, it's crazy. I think the largest mink farm in the U.S. is here. That's the one down. It's like south a little bit.
Jordan Valley or something. Farm.
It's owned by the McLaughlins, which is funny because it's kind of like you hear about all the NSA stuff happening in the U.S. of storing like data records and everything.
Yeah, of course.
It's actually across the field from the NSA building that holds all those data.
Really?
records.
Is that the big mirrored building you see in the news all the time?
So that's their main headquarters.
Okay.
And so out here in Utah, we have their data center that actually holds all of that data.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So it's ominous to see. You see NSA building, then you see the world's
largest
the
mink
U.S.
farm.
largest mink farm. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's just like exploitation and exploitation. Like, yeah.
Yeah. We have, I think we have 8 fur farms left in Germany, and
Oh my god.
Wow.
They're trying to campaign to get a new law introduced to phase them out, but they're just going to keep importing, I guess, from China or other countries in Europe.
And that's all types of fur? Fox, mink, lynx?
In Germany or?
Yeah.
Your 8 farms.
I think it's I think it's just mink.
Okay.
Could be wrong,
yeah.
but I think it's just mink, yeah.
That's insane to think you only have 8 in the entire country.
Yeah.
Because there's a little city here
great.
that has less than 10,000 people that I think has 35.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Is fur coming out of fashion, or do you think it's coming back in fashion?
It looked like it came back in fashion, at least over here. I don't know how it is in the States, but there was a lot of ads and a lot of publicity regarding fur. I don't know. What do you think?
There was a small like trying to bounce back into like the green like issue, saying that fur is biodegradable compared to the stuff.
Yeah.
And so like they were trying to jump on that green bandwagon, but I don't think it was very successful.
I do know that they've been pretty successful on campaigns of used fur, like just buy used fur. But I think that's like the stepping stone into, the whole fur industry anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't know. How do you feel about like the idea of using faux fur?
I don't know. I guess if it helps the people who want to buy fur, it's okay. But I always feel weird, wearing something that's similar to an animal product, like even fake leather shoes, or like something that looks like a fur trim. I feel weird wearing it. People could think I was wearing an animal product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't have like a moral objection to it. It's just more of that weird feeling. Because I think I have one coat that has faux fur trim on it, but I usually don't wear the hood on it. Mm-hmm. But I know Jordan got a lot of crap for it because he was wearing one
when I got arrested.
When you got arrested,
there's photos all over. It's like, yeah, but that's just life. I personally think like an entire jacket of faux fur is just as ugly as an entire jacket of fur. I don't see why people even like the fashion behind it just doesn't. I don't see how it appeals to anyone.
Yeah, I don't find it fashionable personally.
Yeah,
no, not at all.
No.
So you feel weird about like just the faux leather shoes and everything.
Yeah.
I never really thought about faux leather that way because to me it just doesn't even look real. It just looks like plastic to me. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, maybe I just buy the cheap stuff. I don't know.
No, there's a couple of shoes coming from, I don't know, do you know vegetarian shoes?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a couple of materials that look really, really real. Like, really not real, but really like leather.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm always a bit skeptical. Stick to sneakers.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Definitely.
I think that's mainly what I wear anyway. But I do see like the combat boots that are like the vegan Doc Martens or whatever that totally look like a leather boot.
Maybe that's just not my style. I don't know.
Well, I mean, but it's kind of like on the same page as like if someone saw you eating like a vegan hot dog or something, don't you think? Maybe like would they maybe think you're eating a hot dog?
Yeah, that's similar. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's different for me because, when you eat a hot dog, it's mostly at a place that sells them anyway, that's vegan or at least has the vegan option.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to be in the, I don't know. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know.
I agree because like most of the time you're eating food, it's either at a place that has vegan options or it's in your home with people who already know you're vegan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not really in the public eye. I don't know. Just a thought.
I don't know. If I cared so much about the public eye, though, then I would start to worry about like grooming standards and like visible tattoos. How does that make like at what point is it going too far?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have answers to any of these questions. So with the rise of veganism in Germany, are you finding a rise in a lot of vegan alternatives and new vegan products?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's like new products coming out weekly or something, so it's crazy, really. And everyone's labeling everything as vegan, like vegan canned vegetables and things like that. So that are obviously vegan. I mean, it's good, but it's a little weird at the same time. But there's so many alternatives now, so that's really good. And there's alternatives popping up at regular stores, regular supermarket chains, and they're selling them really cheap, which is on the one side bad for all the vegan stores who have to make a bit of a profit to keep existing. But at the same time, at the supermarkets, I think they make it easy for people to try them out just because they're so cheap, and they sell them at these supermarkets that also sell all the other stuff.
So I think it's funny when you like see a bottle of apple juice that says vegan, gluten free.
I know.
It's like it's apple juice. Come on.
I think my favorite. I've seen water labeled vegan, gluten free.
It's great.
But at least I know I didn't have to read the ingredients.
Yeah. Water. We've been getting a few things from Germany. We're obviously still way behind. We just got the coconut oil based cheeses over here, which are amazing, but I guess they've been there forever now.
What company is that?
Well, I think they're being rebranded here as
that's right.
Just
Trader Joe's
Follow
cheese,
Your Heart.
right?
That's different.
Oh, is that different? Okay.
I think they're just being rebranded as the Follow Your Heart brand here.
Okay.
But there's blocks of the coconut oil base with flavor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So but I think you're still ahead in terms of cheese with all the cashew cheese going on.
Yeah, at least in some areas of the United States.
It's very regional for the cheeses still. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's probably Portland or something.
Yeah, California, that kind of.
Okay.
And one of the things I find really interesting is like when you travel across the U.S. and you go to vegan restaurants where a lot of the restaurants will make their own cheeses instead of buy, you can tell like regional differences. Like Denver has a very specific taste. I think Salt Lake has a very specific taste. I think like L.A. has a very specific taste. And neither one of them are any bad. They're just very regional like flavorings of the fake cheeses. Yeah.
Wow. So we don't have that yet. We're still behind on that.
But I've had friends send me all sorts of chocolate and all sorts of like pre-made ice cream mixes that you can just like make your own ice cream by adding water. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Hold on, wait. I've never heard of this.
I don't know. It's the crazy stuff that's coming out of Germany. It's awesome.
What other crazy things do you have that I can just add water to?
Coffee.
Yeah.
So
there's a soy milk, but it's really bad. It's horrible.
Mm. Oh yeah, I think I've had powdered soy milk before, but powdered ice cream?
Yeah, it's a thing.
Is it good?
It's okay. I've tried one brand before, and the vanilla and the strawberry is really good. Chocolate's not so good, but it really works. You just put water in it, you whip it up, and then put it in the freezer, and then you can actually spoon it. It's really got a nice texture to it.
Yeah. Do you have to freeze it at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. I'm kind of blown away by this fact. Do you have any other amazing food things that we probably don't have?
No, not that I can think of.
What do you think like the biggest difference in the activist culture is in Germany compared to like other parts of Europe and even the US?
It's probably that we didn't have that much oppression as of yet, like from the state side. There was the big oppression wave or problem with activists in Austria. I don't know if you've heard of that. Mm-hmm. The big case, but we never had that in Germany, so there's a lot of activist groups still going on, and I think it's easier for a lot of people to get into activism when they know it's like, I don't know, they don't have to fear any repression.
That's interesting. That so it's not like really viewed the same as far as a threat to the mainstream, I guess.
Yeah, no.
Huh.
And I've noticed kind of like open rescue seems to be more common in like European countries.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is the leading cause of that open rescue? Is just that not fear of repression? Like, I'm just going to expose this and using it as a form of civil disobedience instead?
I guess we didn't have any, crazy laws being made up to, brand them as terrorists, or I don't know. There hasn't been, as far as I know, any large case made out of an open rescue so far. So I guess that's one of the reasons.
Are you ever worried about coming to the U.S. Being an activist?
Yeah, sometimes.
What specifically really worries you?
Oh, just hearing stories of people being sent back at the airport, or I don't know, being interrogated for hours on stuff.
I've been sent back from Canada, so that wasn't too bad.
I heard the story. I was actually just listening to the podcast with Jeff Worth.
Oh, okay.
He was going to be on the show with me, but he's working right now. So
yeah, he just got. How long has they been back from the Sea Shepherds?
I don't know, for a month now, I think.
Okay, yeah,
a bit longer, I think.
So, in the getting back to the documentary, in there you're saying you want people to go to the website and propose their ideas, and maybe you can use them. What kind of things are you looking for?
Just general ideas, how people imagine living together with animals. I know, because for me, it's still really difficult picturing just simple things. There's so many problems animals we live together with still have in our society. Just being hit by cars, or hitting windows, or all these little traps we set for them. So working around that and giving them the freedom to giving them more freedom than they have now. So just ideas on how we could solve these problems would be great. Would be something we're looking for.
I've been trying to rack my brain about this ever since I first saw the Indiegogo campaign. And you're right, it's really hard to start thinking about. One of the things that I've been really thinking about is the biodiversity of the planet. Almost all, the biodiversity is almost all animals for animal agriculture. So if we don't breed animals for animal agriculture, what would that actually do to the biodiversity? I have no idea. It's so crazy to think about.
Yeah. There's this really great book. I don't know if you've read it. Zoopolis by Will Kumlick and Sue Donaldson.
Nuh-uh.
That's really the first book that's coming up with a concept, like a political concept for a future without animal exploitation. And it's really interesting. And we will also be talking to the authors in the film. We did one interview before, and we're going to do another one sometime soon. So it's a really interesting concept. It's based on citizenship, giving citizenship rights to different kinds of animals, to farmed animals, to wild animals, and to animals that travel from the wild to the city, that live in the city. Yeah, it's a really interesting read.
Do they go into the idea that it would happen overnight, and then they would allow current farmed animals to repopulate by themselves, or would they kind of keep them separated like they do now, and then not let them repopulate and pretty much have those species die out?
They talk about that, but it's not going to happen overnight. So, but they talk about population issue and repopulation issue, and if the animals should have the freedom to repopulate, and what the consequences would be for us and for them. But I can't recall the details right now.
What's your personal take on the right to reproduce in those situations?
I don't know. It's really difficult to say. I guess it depends on, for all the breeds that we've bred for animal agriculture, it's kind of hard to imagine having them repopulate because they're so overbred and they have all these problems with their body that they can't really even support themselves.
Yeah. That's kind of what made me thinking about domesticated animals and what our role would be, as as humans, being the ones that usually take care of them. Where would that lead? Like, what role would a human have?
And I was gonna say, it also reminds me of the whole spay and neutering aspect of domestication. We already are kind of okay with the limiting of reproduction rights of animals already, in the name of protecting them.
Yeah, in the book they argue that we have a responsibility because we've bred them or we've brought them into the world, so we should take care of them and provide for them in a way that's not limiting their freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is difficult, of course, but yeah. I really love these types of thought exercises because this is really like the end game of what we're all fighting for to begin with. So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's crazy to think about. It also reminds me of, I think I can't remember who said it, but any planning after the revolution is reactionary. Things like that too. Like, should we really be going out and thinking of these things, or is that really gonna dissuade us from the real battle? Interesting. I think of it as something that we should try and picture because it might give people something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
If they knew that there was a better future for animals and humans alike, so that they would try to work more for that vision to become a reality.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
One of the things that also really struck me and has sticking with me is that you talk about how you need like 3 to 5% of a population to make an idea go mainstream. Mm-hmm. And I think I can't remember where I read it, but in studying like certain populist revolutions, they say it only takes about 13% of a population to actually win over a revolution. Obviously, that's by force. That's not going to be by
popular demand.
By popular demand, yeah. But and so those two things are really interesting to me. Like, well, if you can get between 3 and 5%, how much further is 10 or 15%, and then 10 or 15%, how much more of a snowball is that going to be?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm currently doing more research on these tipping points. I think that's what they're called.
Mm-hmm.
And there's different studies on how many percent you need of a society and what types of social class you have to win over to have an idea become reality or start a revolution.
It's interesting. I never really thought about the social class aspect of it. Like, it's not just the population that matters, but it matters, which part of the society that population resides in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the person I was quoting in the trailer is a social scientist from Germany, and he says that 3 to 5% of every social class are necessary for an idea to become mainstream.
Huh. Sorry, that just makes me really think.
It's really interesting, like especially like living in Utah, we're familiar with like the LDS religion, the Mormon religion,
mm-hmm.
and that's,
mm-hmm.
I mean, what that religion is, and they have less of a percentage in the world than vegans do.
There's vegans. Oh yeah.
And so
mm-hmm.
it just makes you think that, like with religion and stuff, there are sects of religion that people know about that are very low percentage, but vegans outnumber many of those.
Yeah, so to give you an idea, inside the U.S., I believe 1.2% of the U.S. population is Mormon or LDS, something like that,
mm-hmm.
or it's right around
mm-hmm.
1%, give or take a little bit. So you can see vegans far outnumber Mormons.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to go to war, but that's a. But yeah, but I would say that Mormonism is probably more well known.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think is that?
I think mainly to our political structure here. So we've had quite a few politicians that are LDS. And so I think that really helped bring it to the forefront. I think the only real politician that was vegan here was Kucinich, that really gained notoriety.
Yeah.
There is the new governor of, is it New Jersey? What's his name?
I can't remember.
But you know who I'm talking about, right?
I'm not sure.
I think it's New Jersey. someone's going to write in and be like, how do you not fucking know this? But yeah, I think Kucinich was really the first one, so it hasn't really been super mainstream before, and it's also still considered, I think, very fringy, and very easy to throw on that terrorist label. So even if they might live that lifestyle, they kind of downplay it or hide it.
Okay.
Yeah. You kind of get used to being called a terrorist after a while, though.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever get used to it, but it's definitely...
It makes me chuckle.
It's something you downplay, but when you really think about it, it's like, what the hell?
Yeah. Yeah. It's very interesting when you're being...
Is it different?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Is it different in Utah than in the rest of the states, being vegan, or do you feel it's different in terms of acceptance?
I think it's actually, at least in Salt Lake, it's very popular. We have 3 all-vegan bakeries. We have a bunch of vegan restaurants. I think it's up and coming.
I mean, the U.S. is so large that it does get very regionalized. And I would say, 10, 15 years ago, it was a nightmare being vegan here, like without a doubt. I mean, I remember driving around for over an hour trying to find out what nutritional yeast even was. Because, you find a recipe and you're like, well, I don't even know what this is. But, and compared to it now, where there was a study a year ago, 2 years ago, not study, like a poll basically, that listed us as the number one or number 2
up and coming
vegan places. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
One of the top 5 vegan cities, I think, recently listed as well.
So, I mean, here, I think it's really great. I absolutely love it. Every grocery store not just has vegan options, but vegan sections now. It's very common to everywhere. I mean, but
that's cool.
But other places, especially I would say Midwest, is probably the worst.
Down south, maybe.
Yeah, down south would probably be pretty bad. Yeah. So, I mean, it does get very regionalized, but I think the diversity of Salt Lake really helps it here, because there's such a large LDS culture that if you don't fit within that mold, it's either like you're part of that mold or not part of that mold, and everyone who's kind of not part of that mold really kind of clicks together pretty well.
Okay. Huh.
So it makes a very good counterculture scene for a lot of different things. I think that's why the straight edge scene got so big here. The punk scene got really big. Very large, gay rights movement here. Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah, I mean, how do you feel it is for you in Germany?
In terms of acceptance?
Yeah. And is it different throughout the country, or like kind of regionalized like it is here?
Good question. If you go like Berlin or any of the bigger cities, it's really, really common. You see even like restaurants that are like omnibus restaurants advertised with vegan outside, so they have vegan options. So that says something, I guess. But in the countryside, it's still really difficult to find vegan options. But it's becoming more easy now with a lot of supermarkets stocking their own or developing their own vegan products, like vegan like tofu products or vegan cheeses, or a lot of something that's really common here is our spreads. I don't know. Do you know any of the Tartex spreads?
No.
Yeah, that's something really, I don't know, popular here because we eat a lot of bread, and we got these bread spreads that you put on them, different flavors,
Would
vegetables.
it be like kind of like a butter alternative, or more?
Like a cream
It's like,
cheese?
yeah, it's something. No, it's more like most of them are based on sunflower seeds, like ground up sunflower seeds, and then you add like spices or.
Oh, so kind of like a hummus.
vegetable. Yeah, sort of like a hummus.
Okay. Yeah, okay. That sounds delicious.
Yeah, they're actually they're pretty nice, but I don't know. I don't think they've been. It's not something that could go really popular in the U.S. I think.
Yeah,
because it's a different bread culture here. We have like all these different types of breads, and whenever I come to the U.S., it's all just like really a bummer.
A bummer.
We like our white sliced sandwich bread.
I think we kind of have a culture of bread hate here lately. Like, honestly, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a shame, because there's nothing like a good crust with a warm, gooey inside.
let's talk about bread first. Like, what's your favorite type of bread?
My favorite type of bread?
Huh?
I think rye.
Ooh.
And see, like, I don't even know if I've ever tried a rye.
Are you serious?
Really?
I know what they are, but it's exactly that. We have. It's hard. It's a little hard to find nice bread. You can go to like an artisan.
You're right. Yeah, it's not
bread company.
It's not as easy. Yeah.
But you just said you have three vegan bakeries. What do they make?
Cupcakes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I mean, it's all sugar based. Like, it's not like, yeah. That is so sad and true.
Yeah.
But you have bagels, right?
Yeah, we.
Yeah, bagels are pretty popular. More so on the East Coast, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't know if they would be anything comparable to anywhere else. I think they're just dough with a hole in it, more or less. It's not anything spectacular.
You just haven't had the right bagel.
No, I've had good bagels. I'm saying most of the ones they sell here aren't good. Yeah.
But I'm with you. I like a good rye. Rye breads are really good.
Yeah, and it's really easy to make. You can just make your own sourdough starter and then leave it for a couple of days, and then you just make a bread out of it.
I'm terrible with sourdough starters. I've killed every one that I've made.
But it's so easy.
It's really easy to kill, too.
Oh, okay.
But see, that's the other thing. Like, if you did want to get like an artisan bread, you don't know if it's vegan either. Like,
you just read the ingredients.
Duh. But it's hard to know. You know, like you go in to an artisan bread company and they might just have an egg,
like an egg wash,
or whatever else on the outside.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Fair enough. So you make your own rye bread. Do you find yourself cooking a lot more because you're vegan, or do you think that you would either way?
I used to cook a lot more, but over the last couple of years, I didn't somehow. I don't know. I just didn't feel like experimenting that much because I have all the basic recipes I do over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
I use over and over again. So, but yeah, I cook a lot because I don't really like going out and eat a lot because it's really expensive sometimes. It's just really easy to make your own stuff. So,
what are some of your standards? Like you said, you had those standards that you have.
Just a stir fry is like really nice. Pizza, a lot of pasta, a lot of salads, different salads.
Do you make your own pizza doughs?
Oh yeah.
Do you like yeast resin doughs or do you like the baking soda doughs?
I do both, but
okay.
Because the yeast ones take a little longer, so
yeah. I have a baking soda one. It takes about 30 minutes, and it's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's if you have a lot of time, it's really nice. True.
I feel kind of like super lucky. I have a place down the street here that sells. They call them take and bake pizzas, where they make the pizza and you can bake them at home.
Oh, nice!
But their dough is vegan, and you can just go buy the dough pre-formed for just a couple bucks.
Mm-hmm. Pre-formed, like in a pizza shape? Or?
Yeah. So for people that are super lazy like me,
that sounds really lazy. Yeah.
Well, you have to understand, in America, they also sell peanut butter slices and jelly slices.
This is true.
Like sliced cheese or pre-processed cheese slices. You can grab a peanut butter slice and a jelly slice, and you have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Oh my god!
We
on
live
your pre-cut bread
in a crazy lazy culture here.
Wow.
Yeah, the ones that drive me insane are the pre-packaged dips. So it's like, oh, you want hummus? Well, you can buy these little dips that are like a half an ounce each, so it's the perfect size for you. It's just like what?
And the packaging and the waste that goes into most of that stuff is ridiculous.
Yeah,
drives me insane. I don't know, but yes, I do find myself being pretty lazy with cooking sometimes. So you got like stir fries, pizzas. What else? Sorry, I got sidetracked with the.
What else I'm making?
Yeah.
that's about it. I don't know.
Do you find yourself being like an adventurous baker? I mean, if you're keeping your own sourdough starter, I mean, come on.
Adventurous baker.
Yeah.
No, I like to try out a couple of things, but baking bread always takes so long. I'm often just too lazy or don't feel up to the long process of it.
Mm-hmm. Are potlucks popular out there?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, we have a couple of brunches that are basically potlucks where you bring your own stuff and share with other people.
What kind of stuff normally gets brought to there? Or are you kind of like us where just everyone shows up with chips and drinks?
Chips and dip.
It's, I don't know. It's just, it's mostly a good balance of really unhealthy food and some healthy food.
Mm-hmm.
So like a lot of cakes. That's always a lot of cakes, and then like a few salads and like fried tofu or homemade seitan or spreads, hummus, stuff like that.
I'll take the cakes, please.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I always
That
do.
balances everything out. You eat some salad, and that's your healthy thing, and then you just eat whatever else.
Yeah.
So since you've been, you've been vegan for what, like around 15 years now? Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So being around for quite a while, what in the activist scene, either around you or around the world, would you like to see happening that you just don't see is happening enough?
Good question. Maybe less fighting between activist groups, but it's always easy to say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't really tell. I don't know. More successful campaigns, I guess.
What do you think is really the cause behind a lot of the fighting between activist groups?
It's just different ideas on how to run a campaign or on how to approach things, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And still, the animal welfare versus animal rights argument that's still going on with a lot of groups. Yeah.
I feel like besides like that animal rights, animal welfare aspect, we all mainly have like the same end goal. And so it would be nice if everyone could get along. I guess is the
that is the most hippie phrase you've ever said.
It is. Why can't we all just get along?
I don't know. I think a lot of the infighting has to do with not an age maturity, but an activist maturity, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're saying people that are activists for a while don't tend to infight that much?
I would say they're a lot less likely to.
Yeah, maybe.
And maybe that's just my bias of being an old fart, but yeah. Because these damn kids,
But on that same level, what's the over the years, like how's the food changed for you, especially being in Germany? Like for us, we had really crappy soy milk and really crappy Vegenaise. Or no, we had good Vegenaise, but we had
really crappy like alternatives in general.
Yeah.
Are you asking for the quality of the food, or
like just like what has changed? What are some of the things that didn't exist back then that now do exist, and what are some of the things that were gross back then that are great now?
Good question. I don't know. I remember the first vegan cheese that came out was really horrible.
Yeah.
And there's still companies that do cheese now that veganism is so popular, and it's the worst cheese you could get. Like if you would buy that cheese and just try it out, you would, I don't know, hate all vegans for being responsible for vegan cheese, I guess. But I don't know. It's just a variety of things that have changed, and I don't know. There's different quality cheeses and different quality fake meats, and lots of good chocolate.
What's the one thing that didn't exist that now does that you're so thankful for?
The vegan whipped cream.
We had that for a second, and it went away.
Are you talking about you? Is it the soya?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because you can still get the soya here in a can, the aerosol, but for a while you get the soya that you had to whip yourself.
Yeah.
That was the shit. I loved that stuff, and I can't find it anymore.
Was it the same one? Was it the one from Germany as well?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they changed the recipe. There was something in it that they had problems with, some ingredient that, I don't know, it wasn't whippable after a while, after you stored it a while.
Okay.
So now it's just cans. But
what I have a hard time with the cans is being an American, I need things super sweet, and they're not sweet.
Really?
So I could add more powdered sugar when I was making it myself.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't like buying the cans because it's so much waste.
Yeah, that is true.
And you have to let them sit outside of the fridge for 5 minutes before you can use them or something too.
That is horrible.
It is so horrible.
Yeah.
You can't just pull it out and whip it in your mouth.
See, now that's lazy. That's more lazy than the pizza dough.
Just being honest.
Was it another whip topping you were talking about, not the soya?
I was talking about it was the soya.
Okay.
But we have, I think, 3 different now, or 4 different ones now.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we don't have that.
Oh, it's gonna come over sooner or later.
Okay, I'm going to keep my eye out for that.
5 years from now.
Yeah, we'll get it in 5 years. Well, how can people follow your work? Where can they find the Indiegogo campaign and see what you're doing?
Well, the campaign is called The End of Meat on Indiegogo, and you can also go to the website, theendofmeat.com. There's a link to it, and there's also a description about the film, and you can send in your contribution about how you think a world without animal exploitation would look like.
Sweet, and we end every episode saying "fuck, shit, damn." Would you mind saying it for us this week?
Oh, I'd be happy to. Fuck, shit, damn.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. It's been fun.
Thanks for having me.
Have a wonderful night.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
This week you heard
General Fuzz by Comfort Zone.
Right now you're listening to
Punji by Lee Combs.
iTunes. Hey, just wanted to give a shout out to Party Bird. Left our latest review for us. Thank you very much. If you could, spare a couple seconds out of your day, just give us a little review and a rating on iTunes.
It really helps us out, and helping us out helps you out because we can provide better content for you, and it's free, so it's the least you could do.
Yeah, just do it, please.
If you've already done it, that's awesome. Just grab your friend's phone and do it for them because they're counting on you. And we're counting on you. #Ghost Review. If we're not buddies yet, we should be buds online. Just go to whichsidepodcast.com, click on the social tab. You can find all of our social media. We have the Twitter, the Facebook, the Tumblr, the Instagram, all that stuff. So be our friends. We often talk about things that we don't talk about on the show.
By often, that's every day.
Say hi, we'll say hi back. Say bye, we'll say bye back.
We're pretty easygoing, honestly. Be our friend, please.
whichsidepodcast.com.
Click on social. So, this is the part, right?
Mm-mm.
No?
It's a little bit later.
How much later is it?
Fuck shit, damn.
That came up quick.
Which Side Podcast is hosted and produced by Jordan Halliday and Jeremy Parkin of the Which Side Media Collective, with web design by Jordan Halliday and sound design by Jeremy Parkin. Booking by Mari Halliday. Theme music by Commandantes. Go to whichsidecollective.org to check out the other shows in the collective. As always, fuck shit damn.